Thank you, Shalini. A very, very good evening and a warm welcome to all of you who have joined us for the second pedagogy webinar of the academic year 2026-27, conducted by Oxford University Press India in association with CENTA for our teachers of Oxford Advantage, Inspire and Ignite. My name is Shazia and I'm going to be your host for today's session. Here are some general housekeeping rules for today's session. All of us have been kept on mute and cameras have been put off by default. This minimizes distractions of any kind. In case you have any queries, please add them to the chat and our team will pick them up and resolve them. We are trying to maintain the highest quality of connectivity. However, if there is a technical glitch, we will keep you informed. If you face disturbances in your audio or video, kindly check the connectivity at your end. Most of the time, logging out and logging in will help resolve the issue. At the end of the session, we will share the feedback form for this session. Please take some time, fill the form. Once the form is submitted, you will receive your certificate on your registered email ID. If you do not receive the certificate by tomorrow, please reach out to your respective Oxford University Press point of contact of your school or the academic manager. And also, I hope all of you have heard about our Digital Ecosystem Teachers Awards. These are our national level teachers awards for which our entries are now open. If you need more details, you can reach out to your academic manager or Oxford University Press point of contact of your school. And you can also stay tuned with us right till the end of today's webinar, because in the last 10 minutes, Shalini from our team is going to orient us about the process of participating in these awards. And also she's going to share how many awards are up for grabs. Right. So with all the announcements done, let's set this aside. Let's get started with our webinar for the evening. And I just want to start with a question to think about. What makes a lesson stay with students long after the classroom bell rings? How can we transform our classrooms by making learning meaningful, memorable, and relevant to students' lives? Well, the answer has always been around. When learners connect concepts to real-world experiences, they are more likely to understand, retain, apply their knowledge with confidence. Through practical examples and hands-on task design, all of this lets us discover how to create learning experiences that move beyond rote memorization and encourage active participation. So let's practice designing such tasks that will help our students apply their concepts to everyday situations and develop simple problem-based activities that promote critical thinking, collaboration, and curiosity. Today's session is about gaining actionable strategies to understand how students remember better when learning connects to real life by designing tasks that apply concepts to everyday contexts and developing simple classroom-ready, problem-based learning activities. So get ready for an inspiring journey into making learning a fun affair. And it is my absolute pleasure to introduce our facilitator for today, Kaushiki Moitro. Kaushiki Moitro is an accomplished education professional with over 15 years of experience in academic operations, teacher training, and curriculum implementation across leading educational institutions. Most recently, she served as academic coordinator at Greenwood High International School, Bangalore, where she led curriculum planning, ensured alignment with CBSE and IGCSE standards, and conducted impactful teacher development programs. A Cambridge International certified educator, Kaushiki is recognized for her expertise in designing and implementing experiential and activity-based learning modules that enhance student engagement and learning outcomes. She has extensive experience in developing lesson plans aligned with CBSE and IGCSE, curricula integrating Bloom's taxonomy, and the theory of multiple intelligences into classroom practice. Her achievements include leading annual science fairs and interdisciplinary thematic projects that foster STEM learning and critical thinking. Passionate about educator development, She regularly conducts trainings on curriculum design, lesson planning, classroom management, experiential learning, and inclusive technology enabled teaching practices that support diverse learners. It's our absolute pleasure to have her here, and I welcome Kaushiki Moitro ma'am on behalf of all the educators present today. Thank you for being here with us this evening, and I hand it over to you now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the introduction. And good evening, everyone. Very excited for this webinar. And to start with, I will say that we will take it as a learning process. So let's participate more in the interaction through, I know we have little restriction in doing interaction. So we will mostly doing it through the chats. So be active over there. Whatever questions you will have, we will answer towards the end of the session. In between, whatever question I am asking you, try to give the answer honestly in the chat so that we can have a good interactive session. Good to go? Okay, so I could see so many participants are there. Uh, Quickly, we will take 2 minutes. Just write your name, your school name, and where are you from. So it will give me an idea that across the country, which all the area we are covering today. So just take good, just your name, school name, and which city you are from. Your name, school name, and which city you are from. Yes, Radhika ma'am, which city, which school? Wonderful, wonderful. That's so good. Okay, thank you so much. You can stop here. Thank you so much for your response. I could see across the country we have participants, so very excited to take it forward. Yes. So, as you all are aware, that today's topic is application based learning tasks. Okay. So, if we go through the agenda, mainly three agenda we have over here. Understand why students remember better when learning connects to real life. So, we will discuss how meaningful learning improves understanding and long term retention because students see the purpose of what they are learning. Now, we will just have some practice designing tasks where students apply the concept to everyday situations. We will learn a simple way to convert textbook question into real life application tasks that encourage critical thinking and problem solving. And the third one is develop simple problem based classroom activities. Very important. We will create easy classroom ready activities using everyday situation and simple teaching learning materials that we call as TLMS that can make that can be implemented immediately. So by end of the session, you will leave with practical ideas to make your lesson more engaging, meaningful, and relevant to your students' life. Are we good to go? Just give me a thumbs up in the reaction. Great. To start with, let me not take this. To start with, I have a question for you all. Now, here I will take you little away from the real life and give you, sorry, away from the classroom and give you one real life situation and tell me which situation do you think is more appropriate. Okay, here I will give you two situations, A and B. To start with, let me start with a story of my life. During my childhood, it happened that my dad gave a cycle to my sister. And during those days, cycling to school was considered as fun. And yeah, I was supposed to use that boarding bus. So I somehow convinced and asked my sister that, will you teach me how to cycle? Now, there are two scenarios. Scenario one, she told me, yes, I will teach you. And let's start from today. I just have a week time. So let's start from today. She showed me a picture of a cycle, and she told me very theoretically that where is the wheel, where are the wheels, where is the handle, bell, the chain, everything very clearly she explained. And she told me that every day, like 7 days, every day we will have 10 minutes time where we will sit and see the picture and get used to of the parts of the cycle. I said, okay. And this is scenario one. Good. Now, scenario two is, she said, okay, I will teach you how to cycle. Now, we went to the ground, and she said, I don't have much time. I can this cap hold you for a few meters, then you have to try by yourself. And that's how I started trying. And every day, same, every day, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, she used to give her cycle to me. And I used to try how to cycle slowly, slowly. Okay, this is the scenario two. Good with it? My question is, after 7 days, okay, that's on a Monday. I started from Monday, this is Monday. After 7 days, what do you think? After which scenario, I would be able to cycle a bit, maybe a 50 meter? After which scenario? Scenario one or scenario two? You just write in the chat box one or two. Scenario one or two? Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, that's a correct answer. Most of you are writing the second scenario, the B or scenario two. Yes, that what happened. Theoretical knowledge is important, but at the same time, if we learn it through hands on, we learn it better. This example was from a real life. Now, let's go to the classroom and see what happens. Here, I have a situation again, class A and class B. Same topic was taught in both the classes, only the method was different. In class A, the teacher explained evaporation, draws the diagram, the children copy it neatly and answer 6 textbook questions. Everyone is on task. Everyone is quiet. The notebook is complete and corrected. Done. 40 minutes, 45 minutes of classroom. This task has been done. All the notebooks are written properly and corrected. Okay. Now my class B. The lesson, two wet handkerchiefs goes up, one by the sunny window, one under the fan. Children predict which dries first. Check every period. Argue and write one line explaining why they were right or wrong. Two scenarios, okay? In this, they didn't write much, they just wrote one line. But in scenario one, in the class A, they wrote 6 questions from the textbook. Please understand that. Now, my question is this. 4 months later, on a hot April afternoon, you asked both classes why the wet school uniform dried faster on the terrace. Who answers? A, B, C, or D? Which is the correct answer? Teachers, I want your honest response. I don't want your correct response. I want to know, what do you think? Which students from which classroom would be able to answer? A or B? Please type your answer in the chat box. Nidhi has written class A. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. You can stop now. You can stop. I got the answer. Few of you have written A as the answer, but the majority of you have written B as the answer. They saw it happen and had to explain it, right? Now, I think I don't have to do much in the explanation part because most of you are getting the point where we are heading to. Okay. So, yes, that's a correct answer. What you said, that B. And why? Students don't remember what they memorize, they remember what they experience, apply, and find it meaningful. It gives learning a purpose, it creates meaningful connection. Learning by doing strengthens their memory. Multiple senses are involved, so when they're doing something, it's not only they are sitting and reading, memorizing it. Their multiple sense organs are active at the same time. In pre-primary, we tell that their gross motor skills, we are developing their gross motor skills. Emotions makes memory stick. Knowledge become transferable. If they are doing it in the group, they can transfer the knowledge from person to the another. That's what we call the peer learning. Repeated application leads to long-term retention. Active participation and meaningful application leads to better understanding and long-lasting retention that passive listener alone, right? Okay. So, there what we go now. Designing tasks where students apply concept to everyday situations. Why we are here? We are here to understand that if we are designing the task, if we are doing something, teaching a particular topic, just giving the theoretical knowledge is not going to help them. We have to design it in such a way that they can apply that knowledge to their day to day life, everyday situations. So, as a teacher, our goal is not just to help students to score well in the examination, but to help them to use what they learn outside the classroom. The biggest misconception, especially when we are teaching primary and pre-primary, we feel that okay, my child, suppose I am teaching UKG, at times our preference goes like, okay, my child should be able to write three-letter words, my child should be able to write a complete sentence and give the answer like that. But do you think that is more important, or whatever they are learning in the class, if they are able to implement in their day-to-day life outside the classroom, that is more important? Yes. If they're able to implement whatever they have learned outside the classroom, that is what is the real learning is. So when we are teaching any topic, we have to design it in a such a way that maximum number of students will be able to use it beyond the classroom. So when we design any application based task, we are essentially asking ourselves one question: where will my students use this concept in real life? Okay, this is the most important question a teacher should understand or ask herself or himself before doing a lesson plan, before designing a lesson plan. Is whatever I'm teaching, it can be any subject, it can be English, it can be maths, it can be science, whatever topic I'm teaching, where my students are going to use this concept. So this is the mantra of the whole, or you can say the gist in one line. If I have to summarize this is what. Where will my student use this concept in real life? I want everyone to type this line in the chat box so that somehow in your mind it gets registered. Quickly, where will my students use this concept in real life? I want as it is, the way it is written as it is, I want it in the chat box. I don't want yes, ma'am. I want the sentence which says, write the sentence. Where will my students use this concept in real life? Because this is what, yes, because this is what should be there in your mind whenever you are making your lesson plan, whenever you are teaching in the classroom, irrespective of the age group you are teaching, irrespective of the class you are teaching, right? Okay, wonderful. So, yes, from the next time, whenever you are making the lesson plan, this is the first question you should ask yourself, and then it will get easy to make the question paper, the lesson plan. Now, a good application based task has four simple elements. Number one, start with a real life context. Okay, you start with a real life context. Number two, present a problem or challenge. You will always find your students more curious, more active when you challenge them. They don't like to be a passive listener in the classroom. They like to be challenged. They like to be involved in some activity. And that is what we have to ignite in the class. Okay, so simple, present a problem, present a challenge where they can apply their knowledge. Ask students to apply the concept they have learned. The third one, it's towards the end of the lesson plan. Allow them to explain their thinking and justify their situation. This is one of the very important part where we are giving the chance to the child to share his or her thinking, what they are thinking, why did they arrive to that particular answer. So these are the four very important point where I feel a teacher should keep it in the mind while we are designing any kind of lesson plan. Okay, so it goes like this one more time. Start with a real life context. Okay, present a problem or challenge. Ask students to apply the concept they have learned. Allow them explain their thinking and justify their situation. We move forward. I will give you simple examples how we can do that. Let us look at few examples. We are talking about primary EVS. The topic is water conservation. Very easy topic. If we just go, open the textbook, ask them to read line by line what is given in the textbook, it will take good 45 minutes to finish the whole topic. But if we are giving them application based question, if we are making the concept related to the real life, it will take good 3 to 4 periods to complete the same topic, because we are not jumping into reading the textbook and doing question answers in the notebook. We are trying to connect, remember the first point, we are trying to connect the topic with the real life application. uh, to start with, we can simply give them a table in the notebook. We can just stick the table in the notebook, or we can just ask them to draw the table in the notebook, and for one day observe how much water your family uses while brushing, bathing, and washing utensils. Suggest 3 ways your family can save water. Students become observer, thinker, and problem solver. So, what we can do, how we can plan this one, if you see the first part, this activity can be given as the homework, a pre-learning, right? Where before coming to, suppose I am going to start this topic tomorrow in the class. So today or day before yesterday or yesterday, I should give this as a homework, where the child will go home and observe how much water they are using in a different way, how they are measuring, what they are doing. If they are talking about, okay, we are using 2 buckets of water or 3 buckets of something, whatever they come up with. So this will help them to fill the table. Now, when they come to the class, we will ask them what did they observe. Okay, some of them will say, okay, my family is using a lot of water, they're wasting water, something they will come up with. They're all they're thinking. Now we can say, okay, now tell us, how do you think we can save water? What can you do? 3 ways. Tell me, what can you do so that your family can save water, or you can save water in your family, because we know how precious water is. They will come up with the solution. We can do this. And believe me, if you have 20 students in your class, for an example I'm giving, it can be way more than that, it can be way lesser than that. But suppose you have 20 students in your class and everyone came up with 3 answers. So you have 60 answers. There can be common, there can be different, and altogether roughly we will get at least 25 to 30 different answers. Based on so much of thinking. In place of just reading out those 6 bullet points from the textbook, here we have 20 different ideas how they can save water. That's how students will become
Koshiki, sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you, Koshiki.
okay.
There is a
And
lot of disturbance from your side, Koshiki.
am I clear now, ma'am? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, slightly better. I think you can
Hello?
switch off your camera if it's if it's helpful.
Sure. We'll do that. This
Koshiki, if you are speaking, we can't hear you.
Yes, Koshiki, we cannot see you or hear you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, teachers. So now the same topic, water conservation. Okay. Give me one example how you can present it in your class with like what kind of activity will you do for the same topic? I just gave you one example. So quickly open your chat box, quickly open your chat box and give me one line answer that in your lesson plan, what activity will you play? Can role play and storytelling be used as application? We will come to this, ma'am. Eventually, as we proceed with the webinar, you will be able to, ma'am, if you can mute yourself, I think that, thank you. So, video. Can you all see me now? Okay. We can ask them how wasting water can affect all and how saving water helps all. Okay. Somebody says role play, plantation, role play. Okay, role play, rainwater harvesting. Okay, okay. Rainwater storage. Okay. Yes. Observing uses of water in school. Yes, this is very good. This is a good one where we can observe our students how they are using or doing water in the school. Wonderful, wonderful. So, yes, and storytelling and role play. Okay, okay. Role play and practical situation, puppet show. Yes. Now, again, I will say that that depends on, sorry, yeah. Again, I will say that that depends on the age group you are teaching. If you are teaching nursery or LKG, yes, over there the storytelling will help. So we have to come up with different ideas based on which grade we are teaching. Uh, this reminds me, few months back, I was in a nursery classroom for observation, and over there, the teacher was teaching the same topic, water conservation, for a nursery students. And then started doing, she did some activity, and after the activity, during the discussion time, she was asking those small kids, like nursery will be 3.5 and 4 years old. She was asking them how to save water or what they can do at home to make sure to save water. And those tiny tots were coming up very simple answers, but yes, they were coming up with the answer, like close tap. And somebody said something, and teacher, what she was doing, in place of writing those responses on the board, she was using the cutouts of the picture. So tap or flowing water, something like that, bucket. She was using those pictures and she was putting up as the discussion was proceeding in the class. So, yes, this is a small example. We will have multiple such examples. Like the next topic, if we talk about, is social science. And again, till grade 3, it is EVS only. And from grade 4 onwards, grade 4, 5, they go with the social science. Now, civic responsibility, in place of asking them to read it down from the textbook, if there is a large amount of if we go and ask them, there is a large amount of plastic waste around your school, work in groups and prepare a 3-step action plan to reduce it. It is so very simple, just one line, that there is a large amount of plastic waste, and just give me 3 step, work in a group or work in a pair, and give me 3-step action plan. Now, in this only, students apply classroom learning to solve the community problem. As a teacher, we don't have to teach, explain much. They will only observe, think, and solve the problem. As a teacher, my responsibility is to communicate the problem, make sure my students are able to understand. When my students are able to understand, they will be able to solve the problem. So, communication is the key. When we talk about application based learning, communication is the key. How we are communicating, how we are giving the instructions in the classroom, that is very, very important. Now, again, talking about this part, let us see some more examples. Let us take maths. Okay. Calculate the area of a rectangle from a textbook. That will be the traditional teaching. Teacher will write 2 3 sums on the board, and the students have to just calculate, know the formula, calculate in and present. Whereas one more way we can do is application based learning, where they will measure the classroom floor and calculate how many tiles or carpet are needed to cover it. Students are much more likely to remember the formula because they have used it to solve the real life problem. Just memorizing the formula and applying it to the different questions and solving in the textbook won't help them. If they are learning through this, where they are going through measuring the floor, calculating how many tiles are there, then calculating what is the length of one tiles, that's how they will remember the formula for a longer time. So, whatever I spoke in a simple term, I can say that we can change only the context of the question. We change the way students think. Again, when we change only the context of the question, we change the way students think. Instead of asking, "What have you learned?" asked, "Where can you use what you have learned?" That single shift transforms knowledge into understanding. You're getting it? Again, let me frame it in a different way. Usually, towards the end, when we are asking the exit ticket question, we simply like to summarize my class like, "What did you learn today?" But in place of asking, "What did you learn?" if we ask, "What did we learn today? Where will you apply it in your real life?" Or where can we use what we have learned? That shift transforms knowledge into understanding. Yes? So that is very important. The three skills we have: communication, understanding, and problem solving. So the main key is understanding. The moment the students are able to understand the concept, they will be able to solve the problem. Yes? Okay. So just give me a moment. I could see a lots of now. Whatever I spoke till now just give me. You can give me a reaction as well. You don't have to type it in the chat box. You can give me a reaction. Just tell me, is it making sense? Do you think the shift in the question, that when we change the context of the question, we change the way students think? Do you think it's going to help your students? Yes. Okay. Sonali ma'am, Monica ma'am. Great, great. Okay. Absolutely. Yes. That's how. So, yes, absolutely. So you can just, if before I move further, I want this in the chat box where I want my teachers to write, "Where can you use what you have learned?" So before you end your class, in the exit ticket, in place of asking, "What did you learn today?" if we ask them, "Where can you use what did we learn today?" that would be great. So I want the last, how you are going to change the question, the changed question, I want it in the chat box. Where can you use what you have learned? Where can you use what you have learned? Okay, great, great. Yes. So as a now here sitting and getting your responses makes me feel good that whatever I am teaching, you are able to connect with that. That's the main purpose of this webinar. Okay, thank you. Wonderful. Yes. So let's move forward. Whatever we have learned, we can say that if we have to summarize it, that the key takeaway, application based learning does not require extra content, right? It is very we can say it's a misconception, or it's a myth, that when we say that teachers have to plan an application based lesson plan, that doesn't mean that you have to go and hunt for extra content. It simply requires better questions. Hope I am clear. Hope I am able to bust your misconception. Is that when it is asked to make a application based learning program or lesson plan, it doesn't mean that you have to include extra content in that. It is simply like how you are going to ask the questions. The way you ask the question, that ignites the thinking process. And that is what is required. When learning is connected to students' life, they become more engaged, think more deeply, and remember concept for longer because they understand not just what we learn, but why it matters. Yes, towards the end, this is the most important part, why it matters, right? Very quickly, students will forget what they learn, but they will remember for a very longer time why it matters. I will give 15 seconds of pause here. I want all the teachers to go through the lines over here and understand the inner meaning. I will just repeat one more time. Application based learning does not require extra context. That is the mantra. What is the mantra? It simply requires better questioning. If you frame the question you're asking your student, that will solve the maximum problem. In place of starting your question with a W, what, when, where, if we ask them, explain how it is happening with some example, explain why it is happening, relate it with certain real life application, job is done. Yes? Okay. Now, quick question for you all. Are you all ready? As we all know that there are these 5 magic words of our lesson plan: explain, elaborate, explore, engage, and evaluate. That's our 5 magic words, right? So when we are planning a lesson, we use these words. These are our like gilly gilly chew words. Yes. Now, a simple task for you all. Arrange them in the order 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In the lesson plan, which E should come first, which E should come second, third, fourth, and fifth. Okay, so if you think that evaluate should come first, how will you write? Wait, hold on. You will write like 1, evaluate, 2, whatever it is, 3, this, 4, this, 5, this. Okay, am I clear with the instruction? We all know that an effective lesson follows the 5 instructional model. The 5 stages are explain, elaborate, explore, engage, and evaluate. However, they are not in the correct order. Arrange these 5 stages in the sequence, they should appear in a lesson plan. You have 2 minutes time for this. Okay, teachers, 1 minute. I think the moment you are pressing enter, wait, hold on. The moment you are pressing enter, the chat is there in the chat box. So in place of, yes, you can do it in one line, one, two, three, like this, in place of, and press the enter all together once. Okay. Good going, good going. Ah, Firoz, ma'am, you got it correct. That's how we want it. Yes. Teachers, take time. Make sure that you are writing all the 5 E's in the same line, in the same sequence. Great. Last 40 seconds to go. Great. Yes. Wonderful. I am so happy to see the responses. That means my teachers are listening. That's how we want our students as well, right? When we are teaching, we want our students to listen, understand, and implement. So I could see my teachers are able to implement that. Okay, so okay, you can stop now. Stop posting. Stop posting now. Stop. Enough. Okay, teachers, we can stop now. Wonderful. So good to see your responses. Yes, and most of you have got the correct order. Many of you are little confused, I can see, but never mind. We are going to discuss that. I just wanted to know what's your idea. So Ruhina ma'am says it is engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. Okay. Ramya J. ma'am says engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate. Okay. Namita ma'am has used the shortcut. She says 43125. Ma'am, what is 4? What is 3? What is 2? What is I am not able to understand. Okay, Rohini ma'am says engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate. Mostly everyone is saying that evaluate is the last part. Okay. Teachers, can you see me now?
Yes, ma'am, we can see you and hear you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, wonderful. I will quickly ask Preeti Sharma. Preeti Sharma, ma'am, are you there? You can give me a thumbs up in the chat box. Preeti Sharma. Okay, no worries. Last one I will try Sindhu S. Sindhu S, are you there, ma'am? You can give me a thumbs up in the chat box.
Ma'am, all the teachers are very excited to explore with you and interact. So they are continuously talking to you through chat.
Okay, because I think my chat box is not loading that fast. Okay, great, great, great. Okay, thank you, thank you. I just wanted to see whether my teachers are attentive or not. Okay, thank you so much. Now let us see what is the final answer. We all arranged it. So, yes, this is how 5 E's should be used in the lesson plan. Engage, capture students' interest, and connect with their prior knowledge. Very, very important. If you remember, you must have done in your B.Ed as well, when we do some activity, the KWL chart, right? KWL chart. Quickly, can I get 5 responses? What is the full form of KWL? KWL chart. Quickly, KWL chart. KWL chart. Can anybody tell me what does it mean? Know what you want to know. And L, learn. Very good. Thank you so much, Vijayalakshmi ma'am. Thank you. Yes, that's what we say, the KWL chart, where we can connect and summarize the overall thing. The prior knowledge is part of that. What do you know about my topic? So, at the beginning of the class itself, we need to try to engage our student. Okay, how do we engage them? We need to draw their connection. And with the help of prior knowledge questions, we can connect. We can ignite that curiosity in them. What is the topic? What are we going to learn today? Now, next is explore. Students investigate, observe, and discover the concepts through activities, where we say the activity part. So, after the prior knowledge, after checking the prior knowledge, we know how much my students know about the particular topic. The second one is the activity part, where students will investigate, observe, discover the concept through activities. Simple if I have to relate this explore part with our water topic. Just now we discussed a child, how to teach a child water conservation, save water, in place of reading it from the textbook and doing 6 questions from the textbook. If we give them that practical task where the child will get an opportunity to observe and discover the concept, exactly that is what we meant in the explore part. Next is the teacher and the student discuss finding, introduce vocabulary, and clarify the concept. Here, as a teacher, we have to gather the information what they want to share on the blackboard. Very important how we use our blackboard. Blackboard should be a visual aid for my students. Whatever we are discussing, if we jot it down on the blackboard, it will give them an idea to fall back and recall what they have learned. Right? So, as I mentioned, that if I ask in the textbook, it will be given like 5 points will be given how to save water. But at the same time, if I am asking the students to come up with their ideas about save water, at least we get 20 to 25 different answers. Take out the main one, make a flow chart or make a web out of those, save water web. We can do this, different point, whatever they're coming up. Make a web and put it on the board. Visually, they are very clear what they are learning. And we have summarized what they have observed and discovered through the activity. So that's how, in the explain part, when I say explain, it doesn't mean that the teacher has to give them all the theoretical knowledge. Explain should be interactive, where the students get the equal opportunity to share what they know. Fourth one is elaborate. Students apply their learning in new situation to deepen understanding. It can be a form of worksheet, it can be a form of worksheet, can be a subjective, formative, it can be like elaborating the answer or single word answer or objective type question or simple quiz in the class. It can be anything where the students are applying their learning in the new situation, right? And then we evaluate whatever work they have done. As a teacher, we will evaluate that. Yes, and we can evaluate through different question, tasks, and reflections. Based on, see, if I say that reflection, task, and all, this should not be a worksheet only. It can be in a form of a project, it can be in a form of a group activity where the students will work in the group and come and present in the class. It can be anything. When we say assess, again, we have this notion assessment means sit, pen and paper, question answers, writing. No, we cannot think like this when my child is in pre-primary or primary. Any kind of assessment, any the way we have to assess the child should be very innovative way, where my child is applying the knowledge what they have learned. If we want them to create something, draw something, do a task, do a project based learning. Yes, and yeah, again, we cannot go away from the fact that they have to do a worksheet or pen and paper as well. So we need to divide it in a very smart way, what percentage we want them to do as a project and what percentage they will be do a pen and paper test, a summative assessment. So yes, any all the topic should be divided. When it comes to evaluate, it should come to a formative assessment and summative assessment, that FA and SA. So when we take a topic, these are the points we should keep in our mind. So before I move further, I have one question for you all. Not one, another one for you all. So it says, tell me out of these five, which is the most important one? Out of these five E's, which is the most important one? Quickly. You just have 30 seconds. I don't want to see any answer after 30 seconds. Based on E, tell me the E. Yes. Engage, explore, evaluate, engage, evaluate. Time's up. No more answers. Stop. Yes. Okay. Most of you have written engage. But my dear teacher, I'm waiting for everyone to stop. Yes, explore, evaluate, explain. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Just stop now. You can stop. I just saw one.
Kaushiki, we lost your video and audio.
I think she got logged out of the session. She'll join back soon.
Thank you, teachers, for being so active in responding. The questions that you have been pasting on the chat box, I have been taking a note of the
Ma'am, can
questions.
you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We can.
Yeah. Ma'am, whenever there is a gap, no, just let me know so that, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yes, my dear teachers, we cannot pick one from it. We cannot say that engage is important, explore is not, explain is not. All the topics are interrelated. If we do not engage our student at the beginning of the class, my students are not ready to explore. If they have not done the activity properly, if they have not explored the topic properly, they will not be able to take part in your explanation. They will not understand the explanation in a better way. They will not understand the explanation in a better way. So, and if they are not able to understand, if they are not able to take part in the discussion with you, they won't be able to elaborate. That is, they won't be able to apply the knowledge anywhere. And if they are not able to apply, how will you assess them? Evaluate is not working, right? So, this all the 5 E's are interrelated, okay? And they are just like a pack of cards. So if you just remove one of the E's, the whole thing will collapse. The whole lesson plan, the effectiveness of the lesson plan, you won't be able to achieve your aim. You won't be able to achieve your learning outcome if any of the E is moving out. So it is very important right from the beginning we engage the student and we involve them in the activity, and there we draw the connection with the explain, elaborate, and evaluate. Yes. So those who have given me single E answer, it looks like most of you have given me all. Yes, Vidya ma'am, that's true. If anybody asks you that which E is important, it should be all the 5 E's are equally. It is like if a mother a mother of 2 kids, right? If you ask the mom which one of your child is your favorite, will you be able to answer? No. Exactly same here. So just I'm connecting with the real life. Yes. So all the 5 E's are equally important. I'm sorry. Okay. So let us move forward. Now, here we are relating, we are drawing connection between application based learning through the 5E learning cycle. The 5E learning cycle, Amato, the 5E learning cycle helps us to plan lessons that are engaging and meaningful. Again, just now what we discussed is here in front of you, right? So same thing, I'm not repeating it, that what E stands for engage stands for explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. Okay, this application based learning, right, we can conclude after the fourth E. It starts from the E, that is engage, and application based is the elaborate, where the child is applying their knowledge to answer the question, and then we are evaluating that. Obviously, that is there. So we just cannot have we just cannot have application based learning going in the class and just simply starting the topic. It has to be in a flow. And that's how 5 E's are very, very important. Why do students remember better when learning connects to real life? Ah, okay. So before I discuss this question, I want my teachers to tell me why it is important. Why it is important to connect learning with the real life. Yes, ma'am. 5 fingers, somebody wrote. As 5 fingers are important, these 5 skills are. Okay. So because they explain it, what is it over here, ma'am? Long term memory, better understanding. They understand better. For better understanding, it presented. Okay. Easy to understand. Great, great. Mm, yes. Students will remember it for a longer time. Easy learning. Very good, good. Yes. Connecting learning is important because it helps students understand, remember, and apply knowledge in a daily life. Vinita ma'am, wonderful answer. Great life skills. Wonderful. Yes, very good. Very nice to see the thought process which is going on in between the teachers. Wonderful. So, I just want to draw one connection between the application based learning through the 5 E's. And so, here we are talking about three things. Okay, please pay attention. Here we are talking about three things. Number one, application based learning. Number two, 5 E's learning cycle, the module. And number three, the three life skills, that is communication, understanding, and problem solving. Okay, again, I'm repeating. Now we are going to discuss this based on these three things. Okay, we are going to draw a connection between application based learning through 5 E's learning cycle and three life skills, that is understanding, communication, understanding, and problem solving. Okay, now please listen to my question very carefully. We understand what is the connection between application based learning and 5 E's, right? My question over here is, what do you think, which part, okay, this understanding, communication, and problem solving is implemented in these 5 A's? I will repeat my question. I'm saying that three skills, three life skills. Number one is communication. Number two is understanding. Number three is problem solving. What do you think where these 5 skills are involved in our 5 E's of learning? Better understanding? Easy to understand? No, we are not getting my point. If I'm saying that three skills, Now draw a connection between the E. Do you think in engage, where we spark the students' interest with the real life question situation, do you think understanding, communication, and problem solving is involved? Yes or no? First E, engage. Do you think? Yes, it is involved. So I just want to tell you here is the life skills, the three skills are involved in all the five E's. When we are engaging the students with the help of prior knowledge, we are communicating the question. Students are able to understand the question and give you the answer. That is problem solving, right? So the skills are involved in all these five E's. And application based learning is based on the skills, that is understanding, communication, and problem solving. Yes? Yes. Now you got my point? Yes. In all the E's, the three skills are involved. Correct. Yes. Let me take it forward then. So, the question what I asked, why do students remember better when learning connects to real life? Learning becomes meaningful. Students understand the purpose of what they are learning. They actively apply knowledge instead of memorizing it. Real life experience make learning more memorable. Applying concept repeatedly leads to long-term understanding. These are the few things why students remember or learn better when it comes to real life, when we connect it with the real life. So let us see now step by step. Let us take one topic and see step by step how we can design or plan an application based task. Okay, so it's like whenever you plan a lesson, you need to ask yourself, okay, these four steps. Suppose I am teaching the concept of fraction. So, first question is, what concept am I teaching? For example, over here, I have taken the example of fraction. Okay. The second question, if you remember, we have discussed just now, where do students see this in everyday life? Or we can ask ourselves, like, where my student can implement this learning. So this can draw to the step two, where we can ask, where do students see this in everyday life? It can be usually we give the example of pizza because it is very easy to divide and show them. But it can be we can have multiple examples for that. It can be pizza, chocolate, cooking, sharing food, anything. Why to restrict their thinking to pizza only? It is very, very common that whenever we talk about fraction, we will talk about pizza. There are so many things. Sharing food, that is also part of the fraction. Cooking, how much share you are cooking? Or chocolate is also divided in those parts, equal parts, right? Now that's a second. Now the first part is what concept I am teaching. Second is, where do students see this in everyday life? Third, what real life problem can they solve? So here we are taking the example of pizza. You can take any other example. A pizza has 8 slices. 3 students want equal share. How can they divide it fairly? Same way, we can take the example of chocolate as well. How can you divide equally? Now, step 4, ask students to explain their thinking, not just the answer. Suppose the answer is 2. a 3, a 4, whatever is the answer. I don't want my students to give the answer. I want my students to explain the answer. Why are they giving me this answer? Simple subtraction, if I have to teach, I will just not start with 5 minus 2 is 3. Here, in the third step, I can give the example Geeta has 5 chocolates or 5 toys, car, anything, right? Now, she has given 3 chocolates or 2 chocolates to her friend. How many chocolates are left with her? So she had 5, she has given 2. How many are left? Take away, fine, 3 is the answer. So in the class, again, remember I said how you ask the question, that is the key of application-based task or learning. So in place of asking what is the answer, we will ask what is the answer and how did you get that answer? Then it will be easy for your students to quickly give you and explain how it is happening. Grade 1 teaching subtraction or UKG teaching subtraction, have 5 stone, give away 2 from there, see how many are remaining, ask the child to explain you how did it happen. Job is done. Very simple one, but very effective. When you are planning your lesson, you don't have to think as an adult. This is very, because then we will find the task very easy and irrelevant. As an adult, if somebody gives me 5 chocolates and asks to take away 2 from there and asks me how many are left in my hand, it doesn't make sense. But at the same time, if I do the same activity with my UKG student, makes sense. They will struggle to get the answer. They will think twice how to do it, where to do it. There where we are achieving our aim, that is application-based learning, where the child is thinking, applying. Right? Are you getting my point? Just a thumbs up. That's the relation. Engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate. And that's how we can see. If we talk about the 4 C's, the context, the challenge, the concept, the context again, and the check. Dear teachers, these are just different terms. Someone will say 5 E's, someone will say 4 C's. But the gist of it is the same, where the students are applying and learning. So yes, a simple framework when it comes to our C, the concept, context, challenge, reflection. Let us go back to the example when we are talking about the rectangle, where the child has to calculate how many tiles are there in the classroom. That's a concept. The concept is the area. The context is the classroom floor, not the textbook, not the content in the textbook. Challenge is calculate how many tiles are required. And reflection is explain how you arrived to your answer. No direct. It's not like give me the answer. How many child? 5 tiles, ma'am, 6 tiles, ma'am. How did you get 5? How did you get 6? That's where we apply the application-based learning. I will take a pause here, quick pause, before I jump to the last part of this webinar. And I want, till now we started at 5, it's around 6:30, 1.5 hour. I have been speaking about application-based learning and how it is related with 5 E's. Just now we just touch on the topic of four C's as well, how it is related to the three skills, that is the communication, understanding, and problem solving. Too many things, right? Quickly, I want one line from everyone. What's your understanding till now? What is your takeaway till now? What did you understand till now? Very quick. We just have a minute time before we start to the next topic. Activity based learning, okay. Application based learning through 5 E's, okay, Aarti ma'am. Learning should be more engaging, great. Rani ma'am says using the 5E in regular teaching plan, great, great. Connect the topic with real life, yes. Importance of application activity based learning, 5 E's. Okay. Priya ma'am, you're taking the shortcut. I don't want just a word answer. I want a sentence. Give me a sentence. What's your key takeaway till now? Engaging children is important. Yes. And we cannot just engage them like that. Teachers, don't give me 5 E's. Give me a sentence. Don't give me a word answer. Exactly, this is what our communication with our students as well. If you're teaching LKG or pre-primary or primary, doesn't matter, always take a complete sentence answer.
Hello, ma'am. Are you here? Kaushiki, ma'am? Thank you, teachers, for all your responses. Love how enthusiastically you all are interacting with ma'am. Let's give ma'am a minute or two to rejoin us. Amazing answers in the chat box. And we have ma'am back with us.
Okay, it got disconnected.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay, so let us move forward. Now, when we talk about application based learning, activity based learning, again, it gives a thinking that teachers need to spend, or school needs to spend a huge amount of money to buy these material, to buy the resources, right? Now teachers, when we are saying application based learning, when we are saying that relate the learning or connect the learning with real life, at the same time we don't want you to get resources which is not connected with the real life. So if we are getting real life if we are giving them real life examples, we should connect the material what we are using, or the resources what we are using should be connected to real life, where we don't have to spend a huge amount of money. Very easy to get. Suppose if you are in an English class and you are teaching them article, or you're teaching them just a reading skill, How to read. In place of reading from the textbook, if you ask, many schools give newspaper. There are newspaper available in the library as well. Or you can ask for students to get a newspaper from the home. Let them open the comic part or the part which they are very interested, and ask them to read the first paragraph. We are related to the real life, where the material is not too an expensive one. So teachers often think that TLMS, that is teaching learning materials, must be expensive. They have to do a lot about it. No, they don't have. Use material that students see every day, then only they will be able to connect. Suppose if you are teaching bill, how to calculate a bill, how to see the amount, total amount, anything, we can ask the students to get the grocery bill. Simple. Measuring tape. Or if we are talking about volume, water, measuring the water, take the mug, take the cup, and see how many cups, and like that. So that's a very misconception, where it is which says that teachers often have to use very expensive learning materials, teaching learning materials, or the teaching aids. No, it should be related to the real life. Then only your students will be able to connect with them. Else, no, there is no pointer. Simple example, if I have to give over here, you could see that seeds and leaves. If I have to teach them germination, simple. Seeds, sow them in the soil, wait for them, keep them in different location, see in which location the seeds will germinate faster. So we have to think about the activities where the resources should be related to every day. So this is very important point. Use materials that students see every day. Do not use materials which students are not familiar with. Pre-primary, when you are using, you make use of the balls and the blocks, that puzzle, the block, small small puzzle, all these things. You have set of plastic animals in the classroom. Use them for counting, for all these things. The best TLM is one that connects learning to students' life. That's the key point over here. So application-based learning helps students move from knowing to doing. When learning connects to real life, students understand better, remember longer, and apply their knowledge with confidence. So, how to design an application-based learning? Ask yourself, what is the concept I'm teaching? Where it is used in their everyday life? What real life problem can students solve using this? This is the gist of it. That's the reason I just repeated this thing, so that it is somewhere there in our muscle memory when we sit to plan a lesson. So here I have a few simple activities which we can plan in the classroom. Like if we talk about science, test materials keeps water warm for longer time. So when they are doing this kind of activity, first we should expect them to predict. I have different materials. Now predict which one will keep it for a longer time. Do the experiment. While doing the experiment, have an observation table, record, then conclude. Simple way, if they are doing English, where they have to write a report. In place of just imagining, hypothetically writing a report, go and interview the gardener of your school, or go and interview one of the teachers or the librarian, or the Didi which is helping or the driver. Cut. Go home and ask your grandparents about how their life was when they were in school. Write down the information, write it in a form of a report. Here the teacher is not sitting and giving, and once the child has written the report, then as a teacher we can format it. We can tell them which is the introduction, which is the body of the report, how to conclude the same matter, then they will put it in the structure. So yes, it in place of one period where the teacher will come and write the report on the board, the student copy it down and work is done in 45 minutes, it will take 3 periods. But this learning will remain with the students for a longer period of time. You can see the example in EVS social. Same way, we can apply the same type of application based learning in preschool level as well. It should be simple, playful, and connect to child's daily experience. The focus is on helping children use what they learn in meaningful situation rather than only completing worksheet. Few topics if we talk about pre-primary, counting 1 to 10. Relate, they are very close to mother. Relate, your mom bought apples and banana, let's count them. You have toy fruits in front of them, let them sit and count. Recognizing the letter in place of making them sit at one place and showing them different letters and asking them to pronounce it, give them some text in front of them, maybe a grocery list or something where the letters are in a very big and prominent way. Ask them, wherever you see M, underline it. They are able to recognize the letter. Then you can relate it with the uh, air stressing or sandpaper dressing and take it forward. The introduction is like that. In place of showing this is M, as we have done letter M yesterday, today we will ask them to recognize the letter in between multiple letters. So yes, these are few more things which we can do in the classroom, where we are talking about healthy and unhealthy food, or sorting clothes based on the color. So here I have one question for you all. Which one is an application task? So it is for grade 1, EVS topic, sorting and classification. Okay. Only one of these makes the child use the concept of decide something. Okay? Concept to decide something. A, B, C, and D. Just write in the chat box which is the correct answer. Okay, maximum of you are typing C. C says, color the vegetable in the picture. Green. Okay.
Teachers, many of you have written C as your option. What makes you say that? How does that become the application based task? Sonia ma'am, why don't you type it up? Okay, now I have B's as well coming in. Okay, I saw her answer. Okay, Rajini ma'am says sorting real vegetables and debating doubtful ones requires using the concept of sorting and classification to make decisions and solve a problem. Okay, very detailed explanation, Rajni ma'am. Let's see if we have more. Suhasini ma'am. Suhasini ma'am has written that it's C because the real vegetable basket for the shop sort the real vegetable. Okay, and argue. Okay, ma'am has just written the
Give me a
option.
Y. C, comma, Y. YC is the correct answer. Quickly, quickly, teachers, why? You just have 30 seconds to give me the answer why. Requires request, apply the concept, justify the reasoning. Very good. They are differentiating veggies from other things. Sujata ma'am, correct. An application task means the child actually use the concept. Here, sorting and classification to make decision or solve a real life situation. Thank you, Preeti ma'am. That shows that yes, you people are able to understand. Wonderful. Yes, but there will be a I doubt between B and C, the sabzi wala one as well, but perfectly fine. C is the major answer. Okay, so when you are planning your lesson, the timing should be like this: 5 minutes you are giving to introduce, like the prior knowledge check, giving them what is the learning outcome for the chapter, those things. Next one is the explore, where you are talking about the activity. Now, here is a very simple activity. We are using which wrapping keeps the eyes longest. That is my learning outcome. Okay, now 3 groups. We have divided the class into 3 groups. We have 3 materials with us, each group given ice, 3 ice cubes and material. They are wrapping the material in the ice, wrapping the ice in the material and keeping it and noting down the time when the size of the ice is reducing. So after 5 minutes or 6 10 20 minutes, when they will do the final observation. So every 5 minutes, they will observe what is happening to the ice cube. Before that, they are predicting, okay, I think it will stay longer in the aluminum foil or it will stay longer in the thermocol box, anything. Right? Then take that activity and then you take 5 minutes to explain why it happened. And when you are explaining, it should be an interaction. Then elaborate, evaluate. So, how and when we are elaborating it, we are trying to connect how this can be useful at home, how they can relate this at home, how they can use this in the kitchen. And whenever you are doing the evaluation, always keep your observation checklist. That will help you to evaluate your students. And that's how we say that that is a holistic learning. So here I have a few task banks which you can use for, you can take a screenshot of it. And mathematics, EVS, language, how you can have different activities, just ideas, nothing much, just ideas which will help you to plan your lessons better. Okay, so before I end, my final question to you all. So here we are. I am talking from last 1 hour 45 minutes, and we spoke about many things. We spoke about application-based learning. We spoke about why students remember better when learning connects to real life. We spoke about practical designing tasks where students apply concept to the everyday situation, develop similar problem based classroom activities. We relate all these things with our 5 E's, that is, explain, elaborate, explore, engage, evaluate. Right? Now, as a teacher, I want, what is your pick? What will you change on Monday? Okay, so after this workshop, after this learning experience, when you go to your classroom on Monday, what will you change? Okay, pick the smallest one you will actually do next week. I am not asking you to do something, change all your lesson plan overnight and do this, that. No. Small step at time, one step at a time. So pick the smallest one you will actually do next week. Then try your one sentence task from the breakout into the chat. Okay, tell me A, B, C, or D, which one you are going to do on Monday in your classroom and why. And that's the key takeaway. Teachers, I don't want A, B, C, D. I want A, B, C, any answer and why you will take that. Shilpi ma'am, hope you got it. I don't want only one letter answer. I want the letter and the explanation. I can choose option A. It is connected to real life. One application question to the end of lesson. Very good. A, because students will learn the real time application of the concept. Suvita ma'am. Okay. C, so that they relate it and explore the concept. Ranjini ma'am. Very nice. Fabulous. Fabulous. Nina ma'am, I would appreciate if you write why you will do A. The why is very important. Real life experience, A. Real life application, I choose A. Fatima ma'am, why you choose A? I will give real life application task and problem solving questions. Nitya ma'am, wonderful. That's so good to see you're learning. That's so, take a real life example, then apply 5 E's and understand what are the different outcome of the same situation. Smita ma'am, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. That's how we come to the end of our webinar, and very happy to see your responses. Thank you. That's all from my side. Have a good day. Over to
Thank you
you,
so
ma'am.
much, ma'am. Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. Despite the in and out, I think you still kept the pulse and you could connect with the teachers. They have been responding and they have been so responsive to all your questions. And thank you, teachers, for making this such an interactive session. despite not having an audio and video, it didn't feel like we were limited by our features. But this was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable insights. And Shalini, would you like to take on for center, or are we taking question answers?
Shazia, just check for any questions. In the meantime, I'll quickly upload my PPT.
Okay, perfect. So, ma'am, I had picked some questions from the chat box. So,
Sure,
I
sure.
can share some questions. So, Devishri ma'am had asked that how will the students concentrate who are not doing, who are struggling to get engaged in this kind of an activity?
Okay, thank you for the question. Who asked it?
Devishri ma'am.
Devishri ma'am. Okay, thank you, Devishri ma'am. Now, when we plan any activity, we have to keep it in our mind that any activity can be planned in two ways. One is interpersonal, one is intrapersonal. So, when I say interpersonal, means where more than one individual is involved, and another one is intrapersonal, where the child is doing is individually. Okay, now based on the topic you have to plan your activity. So it can be a group activity, it can be a pair activity, it can be a individual activity. So yes, that's how you have to involve everyone in the class. You cannot, we cannot have like five students doing the activity and two of them are left. No. So that's the reason I'm saying when we are doing any kind of activity, it should be kids too. It should not be a form of demonstration. It should be done by the students when they are engaged. We are not engaging the teachers, we are engaging the students. Hope I answered your question.
The next question, ma'am, as probably you can anticipate, is about time management. How can we manage our time when we are going through this process?
See, that's the reason. If you see towards the end, when I was talking about the time, the maximum time was given to explore, that is the activity. So, if the activity, the explore is done properly, everything will fall in place. So, exactly, as a teacher, we have to expertise in that how to manage that time. That is very important. Which area where you have to stop, where the discussion is going out of the track, we need to stop there and bring them to the topic. That is the most important part, and that's how we can manage the time.
I think most of the other questions are related to specific examples for pre primary, primary, or a topic such as human organs. And I think you've covered most of it towards the end, but if you would still like to elaborate on some examples, that would help.
See, teachers, I am not going to give you examples. That will be that's not fair, because I will tell you here, you will act like my students, right? So going to the class and giving away the answer immediately will not helping the thinking process. Now I have told you how to plan the lessons. I have told you how to go step by step to explore the topic and come out with your lesson plan. So if you're talking, as ma'am said, human organs or human body part. So how we can do? Can we just teach them all the parts of the body all together, or shall we divide into internal and external? When suppose if I am teaching grade one, okay, I am talking about internal body parts. Going to the class and simply, children, do you remember in LKG we learned about the poem head, shoulder, knees, and toes? Just do the rhyme for a minute. That will grab their attention and they will curious to tell you, curious to know what they are going to do. Then plan your activity. You can have a puzzle. You give the pieces of puzzle to them and ask them to make the body part. They can work in the group and do. Give a timer for them. 5 minutes, you're making it. They are challenged. Remember, I use the word you have to challenge them. They are challenged. They will do that. So I am not going to give away any more examples. I have given you the structure. I have given you the skeleton. Now it's your job to use your put the muscle and skin and make it look beautiful. Yes, ma'am. Hope
Yes,
my
thank you, ma'am.
answer.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think we should not limit our creative minds, and our
Exactly,
contexts
exactly.
are so varied given that we have joined from all over India. And I think it is great to brainstorm, take this, and adapt it to our own contexts. I think that's really going to be helpful. Another challenge that is coming from a couple of educators is that what to do with a large number of students in a classroom, 40 plus students classrooms. Is there a hack that we can use, or a midway to implement the model?
See, there where it is not possible to do group activity, or there we can engage them in more individual activities. Okay, we can ask them to, give them a table where they are observing what is happening and writing down their observation like that. For that group, we can have multiple question interaction. So you can limit the explore time and you can give it to the explain there, right, where you are interacting, you're given opportunity to the maximum. I'm not saying in a class of 40 all 40 students will be able to speak. No, at least make sure you have an interaction with 20 of them. So that should, the class should be more interactive. That's how we can involve them if the number is going higher.
Yes, thank you so much,
Hope.
ma'am. I think we've covered most of the
Most years.
questions that the educators had. Yes, thank you so much. It was such an insightful session, and I'm sure that little by little, as you said, we don't have to do it all together, but take those baby steps to change our classroom into more active and application based classroom models. So, thank you
Absolutely.
so much. It was an honor to have you today. And
Pleasure.
Shalini, are you here?
So thank you so much. Can I log out, ma'am, if you want to continue or you want me to stay here?
You can, Kaushiki. Thank you so much. In
Thank you
fact,
so
you were
much.
speaking about the 5E model. While our teachers would be a little bit more familiar if I were to connect the 5E model to the model that we follow, for Oxford Advantage teachers, especially in the foundational stages, this is very similar to our CHAMPS model, CHAMPS, right? The CHAMPS model. So if you were to connect the 5Es, the engage is what we do under curiosity and hint section, right? So that's where you get the children to get curious about what you're learning and give hints on what is going to happen today. And then comes your explore section, where which is dealt with under the action part, right? So we do the action there and we are learning, the main concept learning happens there. And then comes your explain, which I believe would be the manifest, where we are bringing together all the learning of the day. Then comes the elaborate part, and it's exactly the activity based or application based section, which where students are looking at how do they connect what they have learned in the class to their real life. And finally the evaluate part, which is covered under sustain, right? So teachers, this is the exact thing that we follow, just that the names differ a little.
So
Similarly,
exactly
yeah,
this 5E, ma'am, it has been given by NEP.
right,
So same thing. They have given us the structure
exactly,
and
right.
depends on the publication,
uh,
depends on the school,
yes,
they are making it their own way. So
exactly.
any structure is variable. It's like you can mold it the way you want.
Hmm,
That
hmm, hmm,
flexibility is
hmm.
always given. And
True.
same way teachers, you are also given whatever ma'am said, the champ model. Uh, Teachers have given the flexibility to mold it their way and make sure that it is more application based, right, ma'am? If I'm,
Yes, yes.
yeah.
Thank you, Sahana
Okay.
Ramesh ma'am, for reiterating the CHAMPS pedagogy. And same way for the others, for classes 3 to 5, and for Oxford Inspire and Ignite teachers, you can connect it to your warm up procedure and wrap up on a daily basis, right? So, very similar to what we are doing. Thank you so much, Kaushiki.
Thank
You may log out. We are moving
you.
into
Okay.
more internal things now.
Sure, sure,
Thank
sure.
you.
Thank you. It was
Thanks a lot.
pleasure, and I'm looking forward to the feedback. So please do share it with me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank
Teachers,
you.
at the end of the session, when we close the session, that's 10 minutes from now, you will receive your feedback form. Please do fill it in, and you will receive your certificate in your email. Right. So let me quickly take you through the Digital Ecosystem Teachers Awards. I don't think we could have had a better platform. We have almost 1,900 teachers here at the moment. So let me, yes, so here we go. Shazia, give me a thumbs up if you're, or give me a
It's visible.
confirmation. Yes, thanks a
Yeah.
lot. All right, teachers. So year on year, we have been conducting the Oxford Advantage Teachers Awards. And this year, we have moved on from Oxford Advantage to Digital Ecosystem Teachers Awards 2026-27. This is our way of celebrating the excellence that the teachers have been bringing up in their classrooms, the wonderful work that you have been doing, the kind of engagement that you have brought in for the students, the kind of learning that you are providing to the students. And we really felt that this could be a platform where we could celebrate this, where we could reward this, right? So this year, what are we going to do? You might have already received the instructions, you might have already received the PDF which contains how to go about it, what to do, and all the details. Teachers who have participated before are already aware of the process. Slight changes this year. Usually we have been giving a topic and then making the and also the rubrics for it. But this year there is no topic. However, we would want the teachers to look at certain criteria which is mandatory, and apart from that you also need to pick up one strategy. So the focus is completely on the strategy plus certain mandatory elements. So all teachers of Oxford Advantage, Oxford Ignite, and Oxford Inspire, you are all eligible to participate in the Digital Ecosystem Teachers Awards. What are the criteria? The mandatory criteria is that in your lesson plan and in the video that you create, we need to see 4 steps in the process. One is that there must be a warm up, a curiosity evoking activity. There has to be an introduction to a main concept, whatever concept it is that you're teaching. It could be from any class, any subject. Once the concept is introduced, we are also looking at how you're getting the students to practice this concept that they have learned, and finally how do you wrap up the section, right? So the session. So these 4 stages is what we want you to cover in your lesson plan as well as in the video that you create. Then comes your strategy, the strategy that you would be picking up for your teaching process, right? So in any one of these 6 strategies that we have given you, you can pick up one of those and use them to help the students learn the concept. Okay. So what is the first one? The mandatory criteria. When we talked about it, we said warm up. So we need to see how you are connecting the learning to the different, to the prior knowledge that the students possess, or if you're looking at, getting the students to be curious about the new learning that they're going to take up. So it could be different. There is no particular way in which you can do it, but it has to be definitely engaging. The rubric has been provided for each of these steps in the lesson plan. That's your warm up, introduction to main concept, practice, and finally to wrap up. Excellence is what is given in the final column, that is excelling, right? So you can see the excelling column, and once where you can see what will get you 4 points when you are creating your lesson plan. To get the 4 points for each one of these, you need to be covering all the elements mentioned in the final column, right? So excelling is what you need to aim for. Same way, when you are selecting your strategy for your class, it could be experiential learning, it could be collaborative learning, it could be case based learning, role play, Socratic seminar, or visualization. So, when you're doing experiential learning, obviously you will have to create an environment where the students are experiencing the learning, and based on that, they are working on they are creating their learning experience, right? So that's your experiential learning part. The second one is collaborative learning. How are they helping each other to learn? right? So it's not just individual learning, but for example, say Shazia and I are helping each other to learn. Then we bring in Bhanu as well, and all three of us are working together to create the learning for each other, right? So that's your collaborative learning part. There are so many strategies for it. The third one is where you provide a real life case scenario, and based on that, the students are creating their learning experience. Role play is something we are all familiar with. Just make sure that all your students are engaged in the role play, and it's not just a few of them. Any student who is not part of the role play and is just observing the role play is not fully engaged in the learning experience. Therefore, make sure that everybody is engaged in it. Socratic seminar is a very interesting way of getting the students to question the superficial things that they see around them. They do not accept any superficial information, but they keep questioning the why, any kind of phenomena they question, and that's what Socratic seminar is all about. And finally, visualization is where the students are given visual cues to help them understand the learning part, the concept that they are learning. So 6 different strategies. You have to select any one. Just one strategy has to be selected, and your lesson plan must reflect the steps you are taking in that strategy. So mostly those steps will come under introduction of main concept and practice, right? So these two parts is where you will be able to cover, or you will be able to show the strategy that you have selected. Again, the rubric has been provided for each strategy. What you need to do is you have to focus on how you could be in the excelling section, right? How many points you get maximum for your lesson plan. If everything goes well, you have a chance to get a maximum of 16 points. That is 4 for each of these section. 4 points for warm up, 4 points for introduction to main concept, 4 points for practice, and finally 4 points for wrap up. So this way 16 points can be gained by you. And in your optional strategy section, you will be able to get maximum 12 points. So 4 points for each of these 3 sections. So 12 and 16 points together, the maximum number would be 28, right? So 28, your scoring will be done out of 28, right? Now this is the rubric part. What do you get to win? We have a lot of winners, winning entries, winners that we will be selecting. There will be 5 national level winners in each of these categories. So you have your foundational stage, that is pre-primary to class 2. Then you have preparatory stage, class 3 to 5. Then you have middle school, which is classes 6 to 8. So for every section, you will have 5 national winners. You have regional winners for each region. So we have 4 regions, and for all 4 regions, again, 5 winners each. So that would be 60 winners. So 5 into 4, 20, and 3 such winners. So this is 60 winners in all. More winners, 10 jury winners. Then you have special mention, lots and lots of awards to be won. So those are the winning categories. The dates, please be mindful of the dates. We have already crossed the first date when we launched it. We have crossed the second date when the LMS platform for Oxford Advantage and Oxford Inspire were opened for submission of entries. Now we are running towards the third important date and the most crucial one, which is the last date for submitting your entry, which is 21st August. And finally, the fourth one, which is 4th of September, when the awards would be declared, right? So these are the 4 days that you need to keep in mind. Submission entry, you have already seen the submission PPT. I'm sure you would have seen it. where you need to fill in your data, teacher's profile, and the submission details. That is, which class you're teaching, which subject is being covered. All those details is self-explanatory. In the lesson plan, please put it in the same format as given here. Evidence from the class is where you need to upload your video. We can take up to 15 MB or in video. So in case your video is less than that, then you can paste it here in the slide itself. Otherwise you can upload it in your Google Drive and give the access to us to verify. So view access to everyone must be provided, and you can paste the link here. And finally, your reflection on the class. Do mention everything that went well in your class, but then no class is perfect. There will be always a scope for improvement. What did you feel was a scope for improvement or doing differently in your class, right? So these are the things that you need to fill in your submission PPT. Okay, I think everybody is in a hurry to run Saturday evening, but thank you so much for listening here. I hope you have already seen the PDFs and the videos that we have been floating for how to do the updation, how to upload the PPT in your PPT into the LMS. We have opened up the links for Oxford Advantage and Oxford Inspire. Oxford Ignite is yet to go active. In case it doesn't, then we will be accepting the entry via mail, right? So that's it, teachers. Thank you so much for staying and listening to this. Your feedback form is popping up as soon as we close the session today. Thank you so much. Shazia, we are ready to close. Bhanu, you can stop the recording.